ask Marco Calicchia to come, the moderator of the panel on the stablecoins. Marco, can we have you on stage? Marco is the moderator of our respected panel. I'll give the floor to you. You can announce speakers, and we ask you to kindly join the panelists.
Okay. Okay.
Herbert,
I'll join shortly.
you're going to join? Okay. Hey, everyone. I didn't lose my way. I actually live across the street, so it wasn't too hard to get here. I would like to invite Alex from CryptoAds to join. Ramón, we have Ramón from Together. Then we have Max from CoinStreet, and Herbert that you guys just met, who is an enthusiast in stablecoins. Herbert? So, thank you all for coming. I want to give another round of applause to the organizers for putting this together. I know how much work they went through, being a very close partner to this event. So if we can all just give another round of applause to the organizers. Thank you. Today, now we're going to be speaking about stablecoins, which you all heard Herbert give a pretty good introduction. The reason why I wanted to bring this panel up and invite these members in is to give a bit of an introduction why stablecoins are rising, why we're hearing more about them. We're seeing enterprise companies like IBM introduce stablecoins, working with banks. We've seen Tether coming up with their own stablecoin. We've seen certain different kinds of stablecoins, from collateralized to pegged stablecoins to decentralized stablecoins. So seeing that we have a few experts here, and initially I want you all to give a bit of an introduction. I mean, I work, myself, I'm a founder of one of the leading community marketing companies. We basically help a lot of these projects from ICOs, STOs, run through their whole business strategy. And actually one of the strategies that we try to work with is how the stablecoin will help them, their investors, keep their assets a bit on equilibrium, a bit stable. So Alex, if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Oleksii Vinogradov. I'm co-founder of a company called CryptoAds. It's a decentralized platform for advertisers and publishers. And also I'm involved in multi-government project around logistics. I cannot disclose a lot right now, but it's a good sample which I like to share with you later.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. My name is Ramón Ferraz. I'm the CEO of Together. Together is a neobank that was launched in Europe 2 days ago in the 19 countries of the Eurozone. It's a token-based model where the clients are the owners and they capture all the value. And it's basically a bank that supports the euro and the crypto economy at the same level. So for example, we are the first card that lets you pay in Bitcoin, Ethers, or any other 5 cryptocurrencies from your Visa debit card, even though Coinbase said they were the first one yesterday. That's not true.
My name is Maximilian Kobernik. I'm Vice President of CoinStreet Partners. It's a Hong Kong-based company. So I started my career in 2017 in one of the largest crypto funds in Europe. Then I joined CoinStreet. So we are pretty famous in Asia because we helped such projects like Kodak One, and many other top guys in ICO and blockchain space. Now our company is deeply involved in STO business, so we can provide all kinds of services and all kinds of licenses in Southeastern Asia. And we are really optimistic about blockchain space and especially security tokens and stablecoins. So that's briefly about me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Herbert, TheBitcoinMan. I'm also the head of business development at Broctagon FinTech Group. So I love Bitcoin very, very much. However, that said, I'm also here on the panel talking about stablecoins, which is kind of against Bitcoin, the idea of Bitcoin itself, right? So it's going to be an interesting panel coming up ahead, so stay tuned.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so, also me coming from the same kind of space where I invested early in Ethereum, and I had this whole speculation of, I see crypto growing, and now I've had to also shift a lot of our projects and clients towards stablecoins. Where do you see the case? I want to start with Ramón, seeing that you have a crypto card. Do you see a use case for your business to potentially use stablecoins?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in my opinion, stablecoins are a great breakthrough and something very necessary for blockchain to actually become mainstream. I actually believe that there are some countries that are in real need of a crypto coin. It's the case of Venezuela, Argentina, Angola, hyperinflationary countries where something has to happen because their fiat money doesn't work, and without money you don't have any economic or social prosperity, right? So I think stablecoins are going to make their way there, and also as a global payment solution. And us from Together, we are talking with several stablecoins to actually incorporate stablecoins into our bank so that people in the diaspora, for example, in Venezuela, can send money to their countries. And then on those countries, people can redeem the money for products and services. So we are actively looking into it because we do believe that we're solving a problem there.
So do you see your project, your company pushing towards there, or would you see more an enterprise going that way? Like, how do we compete?
So no, I think it's our company. I think it has to be a startup. This has to happen now, and we are, for example, talking with one specific stablecoin that it's on the ground in Venezuela, trying to get redemption points on merchants there. And them and us, we can do it in a couple of months or 3. So it doesn't have to be a corporate.
Herbert, I see you wanting to jump in as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something. Of course, like stablecoins will be, savior of our industry, because you remember, like 2018, if people were collecting funds in stablecoins, there won't be so many fails of these startup projects. Because like I personally know like 5 or 6 founders who raised like 24 million in Ethereum or Bitcoin, and then it went to like 2.4 million. And stablecoins are the thing that people need, yeah? Of course, like cross-border payments that cryptocurrencies provide are really important and really cool, but people are always affected by the exchange prices and the rates. That's why stablecoins are absolutely future and what people are demanding, yeah? To send the payments fast, safe, and at the fixed level of price. Yeah, just like quickly.
So basically, I mean, that's what this talk is about. It's kind of the future of the crypto adoption or the mass adoption like we were discussing before with Ramón, is that stablecoin could be that. So you see that to start introducing the regular customer into crypto, that stablecoins could be the way. But now we see Tether, and we hear what Tether does, or what, Tether's speculation. Maybe one of you can explain a bit further what your thoughts are on Tether and how we can maybe step aside from that.
You see, if we take a close look at when Tether occurred and was introduced, and the biggest pump in crypto markets in 2017, it's always like the same time, because Tether was like the first stablecoin and still the most traded one in terms of volumes and exchanges, but it has like some critical problems inside. So it's the only company that didn't let to make any audit of its funds. And as I said, like I'm really deeply involved in Asia, and some people are staying away from Tether. They're saying like it's just like a bomb that will explode at some point. And it will, end up in one of the biggest crashes in crypto markets as well. Because like once you think you hold in millions in a stable coin, which becomes nothing in like in terms of days, it will definitely affect many millions of investors.
Herbert, yeah.
Okay, so I completely agree right now that, there's a lot of controversy in the market about this whole entire Tether at the moment. But I've been in the industry for quite some time right now, one of the OGs. So what I can say is actually Tether, USDT in specific, is, I would say, in a way, a savior, whereby a lot of new traders, new people to cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin itself, you sign up for a crypto exchange, a popular one. Example, right now, the top three, it can be Binance, Huobi, or OKEX, right? So the thing is, after creating the account, you transfer in your Bitcoin, then what next? So you would need to peg your trading against a certain more stable crypto, right? So typically people believe in the US dollar, the brand, and that's why the USDT, yeah? So now the thing is, with this in mind, and that's why at Broctagon Group itself, we are, to answer one of the questions from the audience earlier, that's why at Broctagon Group with our Nexus, we actually do the settlement in USDT at the moment, so that people can actually trade against the normal traditional assets like Tesla stock or Apple, all based off US dollar. So that being said, Tether is actually, for crypto exchanges itself, it's very, very important, part of the whole ecosystem. Yeah, but now the question is, how many stable coins exactly do we need? Do we need many, or do we just need a few?
So that it kind of brings it up to my next question. Why such a rise in stablecoins? Why do we have over 20 or 30? Why?
Yeah, I guess my personal opinion on the stable coins appears because government pushing some kind of tokens and Bitcoin exchange down, but people still need some kind of tokens which connected with US dollars, for example, to do the same what they do before, to send money quickly, easy, and cheap. So this is my personal view.
So the fact that Facebook is now wanting to push their stablecoin, JP Morgan, I think that's complete FUD. It's not really a true story. It's just for them to do what they did a few years ago. But basically, they want to introduce their own stablecoin. So do you think that tomorrow, Kaufland, Metro, every airline in the world is going to start pushing their stablecoin for people to use?
I think maybe not the way you mentioned, like everyone will issue it. They will issue their own coins with some purpose, yeah, to motivate customers, to stimulate more purchases. But if we talk about stable coins, there will be two levels, yeah, just public, issued by government central banks, and private, issued by some corporation like JP Morgan. Because of course, JP Morgan coin won't be used worldwide. It will be used inside its ecosystem between its branches internationally. And I will also cover one more question: why we need more stable coins? If you remind, when the status quo of Tether changed, when PEX, Gemini, and USDC occurred and got listed in a couple of days, one after one year, because I think many people understand that new stable coins are more safe. They're applied by United States banks and regulators, and USDT is in pretty shady zone. And I personally know people that avoid in USDT and only keeping money in more stable and safe stable coins.
If I may, we have promoted a couple of or three ideas that haven't gone through for corporates to build a token, to build some kind of incentive economy around their own community. We always come to the conclusion that those need to be stable. So I do think that corporates will move into the token space to, for different use cases. The Facebook use case is one. JP Morgan is another one, but a retailer can create, a loyalty scheme to beef up all the latent value of their community. All of those will probably be stable. So I do think we will have a lot of them. but because they need to be stable.
So how would you introduce it to corporations? So let's say a company is potentially looking into using a stable coin. How do we train them into this? What is your advice?
I think you need to create value for them, right? When we did it with a retailer, we basically sat with them and said, with the CEO and said, guys, they're the largest retailer in Spain. We said, you have a great community of consumers, a great community of suppliers, and then there's you in the middle. But a lot of things that could be happening among your stakeholders in this sense are not happening because there is not a system that puts value to the things that ones would like and ones would trade. So you come there, you explain what they could get, how much loyalty they could create, how much cross-selling they could create, and you put in front of them use cases. Like for example, some of the use cases we put here is, suppliers want to have more information from your consumers. So if your consumers want to share those data, your suppliers will pay for it. You need a token to put value to it. Or there might be, some mother of a family who cooks really well somewhere in the middle of Spain, and maybe she can share her recipes. And if you sell the ingredients and the recipe, maybe you can give back the coin to her, right? So you can bring all that value to life, and then get your community much more loyal.
So that's an interesting point. So I actually paid out 500,000 euros in Ether, and obviously it's volatile. I wish I had a stable coin back then. That was 2.5 years ago. So do you think we have this opportunity that companies will start, employees will start seeing their salaries in stable coins soon? Like they will start receiving crypto in the next few years. And what kind of impact will this have in the economy?
Could I jump in right here? Okay, so now it would seem like the whole entire panel is pro stablecoin. Okay, let's kick it up a notch, yeah? So now let me ask a question, okay? So the thing is about cryptocurrency, about blockchain itself, it's all about decentralization, right? Like I mentioned earlier, it's the cyberpunk manifesto, okay? We want to be pro-privacy, we want to be pro-digital currency, right? It's all about decentralization. However, with stablecoin itself, the downside is it's centralized, right? Yeah, so yeah, like my co-panelist is saying that there's AML and KYC and things like that. So we are back to centralization all over again. So now the question is, the panel now, it's something for us to debate about. Yeah?
Well, yeah. We are on centralization with Tether, but we're not with DAI, we're not with Reserve. So there are solutions out there that are trying to make this decentralized. However, I think, there are timings to this. In fact, I do believe that crypto will be stable in the future, eventually. So Bitcoin, Ether will be quite stable. Volatility will go reducing, and at some point, I think stable coins are a shortcut to that. And I do think that today, the ones that work are the ones that are pegged to a currency, to a real currency like Tether. But others are developing solutions linked to decentralized systems. They are a little bit more difficult, but they will be solved. So
in fact, to add to what you're saying, I mean, Andreas Antonopoulos, being one of the first Bitcoin people, is super pro maker. He's very open to this maker DAI, their stablecoin, and the reason is it's a collateralized token, stablecoin, which basically, if the price increases, it's $101, they produce less. If it decreases, they produce more to stabilize the price. And this could be backed by any coin, by any crypto. So I agree. Right now, everyone speaks about the centralized and Tether, USDC, but I agree with Ramon. I mean, we have a lot of decentralized. I just don't, how do we bring this to enterprise companies who are like, yeah, but we don't want it to be decentralized. We don't want it to be controlled outside of our scope. So how do we kind of bring this level out? How do we level this battlefield between what enterprises want and what we as decentralized people want?
I guess, at my point of view, a business case should be a first. Because I guess most popular question will be what kind of color of blockchain do you like for corporation? So when they ask, we need a blockchain, why? So, this is a key point when I do my projects. So before I can see a significant value why I can use a blockchain instead of regular payments or something like that, which completely open and working right now, I can't move it forward. So, for example, for using stable coins in a logistic problem, which we try to solve right now, we need the local stable coins across countries which send some like shipping between companies. It should be because local countries must pay in local currencies like in euro, in real or something like that, and receive in local countries. But on top of that is a token which using for the platform to pay for some kind of services like that. This is a real business case. This is why I need. I don't know why JP Morgan need or Facebook for that. They can easily do the same like with credit cards, like Apple Pay, which do the same right now without any blockchain involved. So maybe they know answer much better than me.
Okay, I really like, I agree with what you're saying, that there should be a utility behind a token. Yeah, and that's why there's all these blockchain projects out there that are utility tokens. Yeah, so, but now, while the market is down, we're looking at a crypto winter at the moment, and that's where actually security token offering is actually coming up on the rise. Yeah, and also, of course, we're talking about stable tokens with the entry of JP Morgan and things like that. However, now with the entry of JP Morgan, for example, it's back to the centralized age all over again, you know. So in fact, but now the thing is, while they introduce that, they will also have to pack against the grandfather coin, which is Bitcoin. So in a way, it's good for the economy. But what I want to discuss further is how exactly can decentralization be shielded further, you know, within this.
I really like this question because like I also was thinking about it. In fact, as like pioneers and really, how to say, these romantic guys who wanted decentralization, change the world, all our dreams were, how to say, destroyed with the breakdown of the market. And in my opinion, there is only one crypto coin and one truly decentralized stuff is Bitcoin. All other things are like softly centralized. Like even I don't believe that Tether is decentralized because no one knows who is behind it, who affects how to say the issuance, and people can do whatever they want. So it's not decentralized. Bitcoin from the beginning was the, how to say, iconic system. And another thing is like we want adoption of crypto, of coins with corporate banks, with companies, which is impossible to do in decentralized way. That's why they always will push for doing KYC, AML, control of the banks, because they understand the threat and how to say the potential problems that this decentralization might bring to a global economy. And of course, like no one will let it happen at this point. That is why there will be two parties. Yeah, one is cyberpunks, decentralization, and another one which is much greater and much powerful is like classic banks and classic global economy. But I hope within like a couple of years it will transform in some way. But of course, like big guys are still winning, and it's normal because like we need time, we need to prove, how to say, our views, our thoughts, our beliefs, and then some changes will happen. And one more point about security token offerings. Everyone expected that this year will be the rise of security tokens, but what I can see in Asia, so many big projects come into Asia. Yeah, they issued security tokens, they do roadshows for months, but they raise zero because they have to explain traditional VCs, private equity funds, like family offices, what is security token and why they need to buy it. And people are not ready for it, yeah? They need more time. In my opinion, at least 6 to 12 months to like, for the security tokens markets to start rising. Stablecoins is much more easier to understand, yeah? $1 to $1 to dollar, you like transfer it like cross-border, do whatever you want, yeah? So it's really interesting times, but stablecoins just like a small step towards what we are trying to achieve.
So what you're saying basically that stablecoin could be the channel for people to actually adopt crypto. It could be that one step.
Absolutely, because one more example. So I'm from Russia, yeah, and you know, like Russia is a pretty specific market, and the largest buyers of Bitcoin OTC in Moscow is like Chinese guys that import stuff, and they need to move like millions of dollars on daily basis back to the factories to like buy more stuff and to deliver it to Russia. And they buy Bitcoin, immediately convert it to Tether or some stable coin and send it back to China. So for them, it's a way to transfer big amounts of money instantly like in any part of the world. So they're already using Bitcoin just like a gate to a stable coin, because like they're not ready to risk like that Bitcoin will fall or rise in 5%. Yeah, immediately you got Bitcoin, transfer it to USDT, and right away.
Ramon, you wanna?
I mean, to disrupt money today, you need the stable coins because the other crypto, Bitcoin or any other, they don't have the characteristics of money. They only have the medium of exchange one, but they don't have the value storage one, they don't have the unit of account, so they cannot disrupt money because money needs to have these three. Stable coins do have these three. Stable coins are value storage because you know how much it costs. They are a medium of exchange because they go through the blockchain, and they are a unit of account because they come into the framework that we already have in our minds, and we know how much the dollar, how much anything costs against the dollar. So it's a must to disrupt money, and then it's a matter of how money works in each jurisdiction, and then technology. But now with stablecoins, everything is in place to disrupt money.
I mean, in banks we have limitations of how much we can send. Like in Europe, it's 10,000 euros before you start getting questioned. Where's your money coming from? Do you think we're going to have the same issue in stablecoins?
I guess I like to add some points. Yeah. We should not forget that maybe stablecoins and Bitcoin popularity was growing because in China a lot of limitation for export capital, and this is now probably stopped the business, and this is why they use Bitcoin first and now stablecoins. And the second point, we can't forget that it's built on decentralized blockchain like Ethereum. So this is like a very good step. So let's say that we sign an agreement between two companies, one in China, one in Europe, and just send each other stable coins using a cryptocurrency wallet. So good, no regulation, nobody stop us. In China, you can't do it right now like that way. You probably know.
I think it's only time until it gets regulated. In fact, if you think about it, blockchain as a technology is not regulated, but all of its use cases are regulated, because if there is a problem, then the regulation comes in place and it says, well, you're using it as an investment, you're using it as money, you're using it as whatever, right? But I do see the regulators working towards regulating the blockchain and all of its use cases. So I do think that to some level they will always be able, unfortunately, to control the use cases, or fortunately, depending on the use cases, of course.
I like the point that you mentioned previously about Latin America, the volatility that you have in Argentina, Venezuela, and I'm also pushing into this market slowly to try and understand how we can give the unbanked the banking solution. Would you see stablecoin as a potential solution, not only for there, but for other unbanked regions?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Reserve is doing out of San Francisco. And I don't know this because I read it in the news, because we're talking with them. They are on the ground trying to facilitate merchants that will receive stablecoins, right? And they are facilitating them exchanging it for dollars out of US bank accounts. But to tell you the truth, it's there where it's really needed. It's not in the Western world, or at least the Western world doesn't need it that much because things work. But certain countries, and especially Venezuela, they just don't have money. So somebody has to come in and give them money. That works.
Yeah, just small adding to what you said. And remember, every time that such problems with local currency occurred in Venezuela, like with Turkish lira, people started immediately hunting for buy Bitcoin. Because, like, of course, like, we're sitting here and almost like, how to say, in developed world and saying, hey, like, Bitcoin is so volatile, like 20%. But when your domestic currency falls like 10 times, people say, okay, like 20% is not that bad idea. What will be a big push towards using cryptocurrency and stablecoins? It's just like easy to use. Yeah, it might be crypto ATMs, which is like sometimes also hard to deliver, and also you might have issues with local regulators on it, or maybe some application in Google Play App Store that lets you buy it from, if not debit card, from your mobile phone account. Because remember, Africa was unbanked like 20 years ago, and people made payments through mobile phones. So people will always find a way to, how to say, use the money in the way they want.
Okay, I just want to add like a question actually for all the panels actually. Okay, so now the thing is we do see the need for stable coins and the introduction into the market itself. But now the question is, how many stable coins should there be? Should there be like capped at a certain amount maybe? Because like, what's the use of having so many types of stable coin?
I can have a point of view. It depends who operator of stable coin. Because maybe if I can find the operator in Brazil, for example, for real stable coin, I will use them. But when I saw that Tether like to use the phones to invest it, I guess you saw too, it's just a few weeks ago, was a little news. So those guys do $1 billion and invest, nobody knows where. And before we will find a significant time to use an operator which has the trust in years. I will create my own. But when, I guess in 5 years market will stabilize it, and some operators will keep on the market and the rest will gone.
I think it will work just like any technology advancement works. So right now, if you think, I mean, no stable coin is perfect, right? They are imperfect. Some are too centralized. Some are too volatile. Some you can't trust what happens if there's a black swan. Some are not transparent at all. So I think, you know, several innovators will try different coins. At some point in time, some of them or one of them will get the network effects. Then the others will start drawing down, and it will be only a few, because I really think that eventually we don't need many stable coins, because it's I mean, they're going to be truly global coins.
Yeah. Like all my partners in panel discussion mentioned one point: trust. Yeah. Of course, it's a vital issue. Who issued it, so you can trust. And another thing, like when we say name stablecoins, of course we mean something backed by USD, yeah? Because like we need to admit and accept this fact that United States dollar is the most, how to say, stable currency in the world, yeah? Because like I'm not sure you will be ready to buy Chinese yuan or like I would buy Russian ruble stablecoin, because I remember when during one night it dropped like almost 2 times. So yeah, it's not that stable at all. And right now, what stable coins we have? USDT, which issued like 2 billion worth of all coins. True USD, 100 million USD. So it's still like limited supply of money in stable coins. That's why the biggest shift will be when some central bank will deliver like trillion worth of stable coins. And that will be the biggest shift. So everyone can use it. And that's until that thing, we'll see when stablecoin goes to $1.07 because of a huge demand, yeah? So even stablecoin right now is not that stable. USDT dropped to 0.91 cent, True USD dropped to 0.93. So of course, like it's all based on demand and supply as the classic markets, but it's not that stable at all.
So how can we solve that problem?
Central bank will come like...
No, I guess we have a solution because operator of stablecoin it's one point of responsibility, but also trader platforms like currency exchange also responsible. If you remember last drop in the Tether, it was operation with some unknown guys who collect a lot of money, and they just sell a Tether while on account which support Tether was empty money. And while they wait, they then pay back and get significant profit from that operation in just half day. So cryptocurrency should responsible and stop playing like that for accounts who try to do that. So without that, I guess anybody can do. It depends just from amount of money which you like to invest. Anybody can drop and get profit.
Exactly. Because like all regulators worldwide agree that they are not, how to say, investigating any cases of manipulation. They just say, okay, we just don't touch this market, and anyone can do whatever they want. And it's like really strange, yeah? We want like crypto to become mature, and people can do whatever they want. Like,
okay, I see like the word trust has been mentioned many times across the panel. Yeah. So the thing now is with too many stable coins introducing into the industry, what will happen is there may be a bubble, something that the mainstream people are all afraid of. Yeah, they have all seen the whole entire Bitcoin craze in 2017 when it was $20,000, you know, and we saw an influx of all the ICOs flooding into the market, and that brought about a lot of scammers as well. Many hit and run cases which gave Bitcoin and the whole entire crypto market a very bad name. Yeah, so the thing now is this stable coin is something that we need to be very careful about as well. So I think even as panels right now discussing this, it's our responsibility actually to share with people out there that investing into any project itself, especially if you're going to make any investment, it's very important to actually check the whole entire background, to do your due diligence. Like one of our earlier speakers, like Giacomo, he talked about growth hacking. So he's one of the guys to speak to, to look into the background of companies where you can even dig further whether or not they're legit projects. They might be using some growth hacking tools that are illegal, So back to the topic. So I think right now stable coins, yes, it's a good thing. But now the thing is we need to be very careful about how many introducing to the market, JP.
Isn't this the same as investing in Forex? You invest in Forex, you understand the risk. How is this any different? Forex is you're investing in currencies and fiat. It has the same volatility. So how do we explain that it's very similar and we need to make some research?
I think stablecoins are quite... so there is always a solution to get the stability, right? And everything is on the solution. So if you want to bet on a stablecoin as an investor or as a user, you are willing it to stay at $1, not have any volatility, and never crash, right? In principle, you're not looking for anything else. And so what you have to understand is the system that's behind that will get those objectives. And that's what you need to trust for. So in reality, I think it's a much simpler activity to do than with crypto or a startup project based on crypto. I think it's a matter of understanding what's behind, understanding the fundamentals, then seeing if there is some centralization and somebody having to do certain things, and then seeing if that's transparent, because that's the problem with Tether, right? I mean, Tether has very little volatility, but nobody knows if they are doing fractional reserves. And then they are pegged to the dollar. So maybe, you know, the Federal Reserve comes and closes everything up. So that's the problem with Tether, not the volatility. The volatility is very little. So I think it's just, you know, it's a solution to a problem. You need to understand it and then see the risks and, you know, see how much of a risk they are. For example, DAI of MakerDAO, right? It's absolutely transparent, super intelligent people behind it. The algorithm is great, but, you know, what if the Ether goes down, the double collateralization that you have to do? Then you get back the Ether when it's going absolutely down. So that's the problem of DAI. You need to understand that to get into a stablecoin.
Yeah, I want to bring this back to like our major 99.9% of the people in this world that don't understand blockchain. Should we even tell them what stable coins are? Or should we just tell them, you know, it's just another currency and lower transactions, faster transactions, lower fees?
In my opinion, like people really don't care, especially 99% of population. What is it? What technology behind it? Yeah. For example, people that buy iPhones today and use it, they don't care like which patents are inside, yeah, and backed by this fantastic invention, yeah. They just want to have like easy to use, like not for tech-savvy person. That's what they're interested in. So they don't need to understand what stablecoin is to use it and to be happy with it. It's like our part of role, yeah, to talk about it, to how to say, yeah, improve it and to push it towards. Yeah, but in my opinion, like people really don't need to understand it. Yeah, it just have to be user-friendly, convenient, and also profitable and beneficial for the users. That's all.
Yeah,
that's actually a very good point there. Actually, most people don't care; they just want to make money, right? So as long as they can make money, they will be here, and that's why many of us love Bitcoin. Yeah.
Well, I mean.
You're the biggest fan of Bitcoin, as I see.
I would guess yes. In your case, and it's true. Well, a lot of people are familiar with Bitcoin. Do they love Bitcoin? I don't know. If I ask someone who invested in Bitcoin 2 days ago and then yesterday it dropped 10%, are they a fan of Bitcoin? And they put $100,000? I would put you on the battlefield and see what would happen. I mean, I think you would lose. So but that's where I want to see, you know, on your opinion, like, are you guys currently using any stable coins, and would you keep using them? And how do we, what is, you know, is this something that you think will keep crypto stable? Let's put it this way, it's equal level.
Yeah, I definitely will use in a logistic project because it must be. And it's open a significant business advantages compared with competitors when I use stable coins. Because let's say if logistic amount will very big and some countries has exchange, so I don't need to convert local stable coins in country to another stable coins in another country. I just do a cross payment within system and save a lot, money, time, etc. So rest, I follow a business case. Even for some UIs, I hide everything about blockchain. I just show why it's better than competitors and why it's best to use. That's all. And I suggest to all projects to do the same. Business should be first, not hype. Hype will gone in a few years, but business will keep on the market and growing.
Ramón, yeah.
I went into it, but yes, we are trying to promote a service where people can send funds from Europe to South America and to Africa in real time with no commissions. On a stable coin that by definition doesn't suffer the hyperinflation that their coin have in their destination, and very importantly that is censorship resistant, so that, you know, any of those governments cannot just freeze the accounts and not let them use it.
Yeah, I agree. Herbert, yeah.
Yeah, to sum up very quickly, so like I mentioned earlier about Broctagon Group, our Nexus 2.0 platform. Yeah, so we are actually doing our settlements all in USDT. So we're actually offering the traditional crypto forex guys the option of crypto CFDs. So we are opening up a whole $1 trillion market into cryptocurrencies itself. So we are helping crypto to make it mainstream. And with that, we're actually doing the settlement in USDT. And it's something that's going to support the whole ecosystem as a whole. So if you're an investor, trader yourself, go sign up an account. It's free setup. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, over to you.
Yeah.
And just like final point, of course, like stablecoin making some shift and changes in crypto adoption and crypto ecosystem. The same as like we discussed, like scammy ICOs of 2017, like when the Bitcoin was at the all-time high, all the people rushed it and tried to make scammy ICO to get money, yeah? But how it changed even like throughout 1 year. Now we don't have ICOs anymore. We have initial exchange offer, where exchange makes its own due diligence and is responsible for the quality of project and for like how to say that funds won't be stolen through some Telegram groups and fake admins or whatever. Yeah, so it eliminated many problems that people faced last year. Of course, like stablecoins also helping to solve some issues. So just like step by step way to how to say improve and evolve. So it's okay. It's still super early days. Everyone knows it, yeah?
Yeah, I think we have 5 minutes for questions. Yeah.
We have a question down there. Maybe you can pass the mic down.
Thank you. I have a question, actually 2 questions in one. First one, when we talk about introduction of stablecoins, we're basically talking about uncontrollable supply of M1 cash into economy. So we're all talking about crypto economy, but what if we consider an economy at large and trying to understand what effects it might have on the future of the world economy? Can you please answer that? So do you think it's okay to issue cash in a controlled manner, or we should have a control as in introducing more cash into ecosystem, M1 cash? And second question, if we talk about companies introducing the loyalty using stablecoins, how is that different? How is it different from the, let's say, e-money regulation, for example? So I don't get it. Why do we need the stablecoins?
I guess just to clarify the question, just make it a bit simple. It's, so why do we need stablecoins to incentivize people? How is it any different to cash? And correct?
Yeah, and also he mentioned the point. So when we stimulate people with the stablecoins, how it meets the e-payments and the e-money regulations in Europe and worldwide. Yeah, it's a really good good question, and it's really good that we have only 5 minutes left because it might take 1 hour to discuss what this gentleman wants from us. In fact, like in my opinion, so on the first question, we already live in the world with electronic money, yeah. So M1, how to say, money mass indicator is already being, how to say, screwed and perverted many times by larger central banks. Because of course, once economy grows, we need to issue more money and more funds to like stimulate the growth and to keep it. So I think like recently, I guess yesterday, Christine Lagarde from IMF said like it's already, how to say, disrupting the whole finance world and the finance ecosystem. So and it's both questions you you asked, the challenges that both community and regulators are facing. And of course, we cannot answer this right now. Yeah, it's impossible. But within 1 or 2 years, we'll find the answers on these questions. Because, like,
I guess I has my opinion. It's a good for existing currencies, even for US dollars, when they have some like a competitor, which much more transparent. Because I'm not sure if you know how many dollars printed worldwide and how many printed each second, I guess nobody knows. And in terms of cryptocurrency, we can do analyze. It's everything open. In everything, it can change all financial system worldwide, but not tomorrow. I guess in 10 years, 20 years. Let's see.
I mean, in my case, just to answer your question, I have employees in 26 countries, and I incentivize them to do tasks, comment on Telegram, write a content. Imagine if I had to pay someone in rupee, someone in dollars, someone in euros, someone in yen, someone in whatever. How would I do that without crypto? And I can't give them Ether because it fluctuates. So in my case, having a wallet, a crypto wallet that I can send a stablecoin, for me is the future, because we're moving digital. I mean, the whole world is digital right now. At least we hope to be by 2025. So in that case, we need to incentivize by using something that is accepted globally. And that dollar is not accepted globally without a high fee. Like if you go to Costa Rica, you take dollars, you take euros, you have to exchange into dollars to them to buy Costa Rican colons. So we need a value exchange asset that is accepted globally without all of this process.
One more question at the back.
I'm Kingsley Kobayashi. I'm based in Tokyo for about 30 years, and I've been into cryptocurrency. My question is, who is responsible? Because nobody's talking about responsibility here. Now, why can't all these stable coins collaborate and be just 2 or 3 stable coins, if not for greed? There's a lot of greed out here, like when cryptocurrency came out, and everybody just want to make money out of it. Blockchain, to my own understanding, is trying to put democracy in the hand of everybody. You are in charge of what you do. So if there's 100 stable coins in the market, of what use is it to us? Why don't these people, if they actually have the people's feelings in their heart, come up with 3 different stable coins, they collaborate, they marry, because my job is to marry projects. I don't believe there's one good project. Every project has a disadvantage and advantage. Why can't they come together and create or put together 3 stable coins for people to use? That's my question, if not for greed. Thank you.
That's $1 million question.
Okay, so it's a very, very good question. It's something that I asked earlier as well with all the panel. So how many stable coins do we actually need, right? Okay, so but now the thing is, as we know today, there are hundreds of currencies out there, and we are talking about fiat dollars right now. So is there a need for that many currencies across the world? And that is something that is actually addressed by a few certain countries, example EU, where they combine all their currencies, right? So that's one use case for you, Kingsley, there, that, there is a possibility of possibly even stable coins marrying together, collaborating, but the thing out there is still there's going to be a lot of other stable coins entering the market. And there will be a demand as long as like from the ground itself, people are actually, like there's a demand for it. Example, if Facebook were to come out with their own stable coin, there is a demand for it because there's a whole entire community and ecosystem behind it. They're like a mini country altogether. Yeah.
If I understood well the question, I'm not sure if now the different stable coin projects started to collaborate with each other, if that would accelerate the growth and the adoption of stablecoins. In fact, I tend to believe that it's better that many projects come up at the same time and they go fast to try to get to the best solution as soon as possible to impose themselves. I think that's always faster to get mass adoption for any innovation.
I guess the problem not in technology, in people. If you try to do something together with more than one person, you know what I mean about. Just go together to the restaurant. It can be a very hard task to decide, finally.
We have one more question. Tony?
No, I just want to add a comment to this question because you definitely need competition. You cannot have a monopoly. The more stable coin, the people are going to start paying interest, you know. So right now, if you're just one or two, try to imagine how much money they're making for themselves.
Yeah, that's really good point because like it's really good to start with many because like everyone has their own competitive advantages and like their own, how to say, vision. That's why if you're ought to become one of top 3, you will become because of the people who will use you, who will, how to say, cherish you. Otherwise, yeah, it will be just like another way of creating monopoly, yeah, just like this, okay, just 3 guys and they take all this money and benefits and profits.
Well, I think it's also the same thing how the EU destroyed Spain, Italy, Greece, Portugal, and all these countries because one thing was worth something in their current currency. You introduced the euro, destroyed them. So if we do the same with stablecoins, it's not fair across the board. Exactly. So I think Facebook will set the standard for media. Like one Facebook coin is worth $1 for the purchase of this kind of media token, right? Whereas if we put a stable coin across every industry, every country, every whatever economy out there, I don't think it will be fair for everyone.
Yeah. And then, you know, we're talking about awareness here, right? We are at the awareness moment of the advancement of stablecoins. So one thing I've experienced the last weeks is when I speak with mainstream bankers, now they are much more receptive to crypto because JP Morgan has launched a coin. And it's not even a token, it's not even a coin, it's nothing, right? They could have done that through centralized databases. I mean, you know, but it doesn't matter, right? It's awareness. It's like I said before that Coinbase released a news 2 days ago saying that they were the first crypto card. That was actually good for us, right? Because it raised awareness at the European level that this can happen. So I think it's all for good. Competition is all for good to make it moving.
Any more questions?
Jack, one more question.
Okay, so this is a really interesting topic, and I'm happy that experts like you just explain it well. But it's full of questions because this is a world moving really fast and changing direction like a quarterback. So right now, Coinbase has just launched their own card. So it doesn't matter if you have a USDC, USDT, or Bitcoin, you just pay in that moment, they will change instantly. So it's not a question, but, well, yeah, it's a question, but what's your vision? It would take a lot to reply this question, so I try to make it simple. So stablecoin will be used for daily payments, isn't it? Because it's really hard to pay the coffee or lunch with Ethereum or Bitcoin. So it's more easier to use USDT because it's more simpler. But what will be the future for all that coins listed everywhere that no one will be using for the daily purposes? I mean, in the next years, not instantly. So what I know the future of stablecoin, which is really interesting. We are paying the salary, as Marco said. We're paying salary with stable or Bitcoin, yeah. But what will be the future of those 9 or 20,000 coins with the stable coins and other?
Yeah. May I tell you quickly? So if these tokens won't be used for paying for coffee in Starbucks or some other purposes and like normal life person and are not used as a utility in some ecosystem they were created for, they will be gone. So they will like disappear. So otherwise you will be used as utility inside your blockchain project, or if it's like so liquid that it could be used for daily payments, then it survives. Otherwise, bye-bye.
Yeah, it's very well said actually, because since 2010 I've seen at least over 50 or maybe even 100 coins that have already disappeared from the market. You can see all these statistics on CoinMarketCap itself, like all the thousands of coins that are listed, but only about 100 plus that are still active at the moment.
And they were also in top 10, for example. 2015, you see, like,
That's
you
right.
won't
And
recognize these names.
Yeah, they were still top 10 at the very point of time, but right now, they're gone. Yeah.
I think it all depends on the use case, right? I mean, if you think about Bitcoin, it's not a medium of exchange. It's a, you know, people invest in. It started like so, but right now, you know, people who invest in Bitcoin, it's more because of the value they expect it to have in the long term, or other reasons. But they are not using it as money. Or Binance Coin is not money, or many other coins are not money. But those that want to replace money, they need to be stable.
Yeah, I think the store of value to then exchange it across the board is one of the most, I think it will be really important. So for example, if you were able to store Bitcoin in Tether or whatever 3 years ago, I believe a lot of people would have waited until the market came back up as well. If we could put electricity that we buy and store it in stable coins and then use it in the future or sell it in the future without the fluctuation, that has also very strong potential. So.